The first quotation we're looking at is, "There once was a country, I left it as a child, but my memory of it is sunlight clear." And this quotation is actually the first line of the poem. I asked you the question, do you think her memories of the country sound positive or negative, and why? And I'm going to start by explaining why, on the whole, and why the first line seems to suggest the speaker has really positive memories of her home country. So it starts with, "There once was a country." That makes it sound distant, like it doesn't exist anymore, but also positive. It sounds almost fairy tale like. There once was a country, which could suggest that the place, her memories of the place are that it was quite magical or perfect or ideal, fairy tale like almost. She then goes to say, "But my memory of it is sunlight clear." On one hand, sunlight clear seems to suggest that our memories are really vivid, which tells us that our memories of the place are really powerful. The place has had a really powerful effect on her. So that does show that a place can have a profound and powerful effect on a person. But sunlight also has positive and happy connotations, suggesting that the memories she has are positive and happy. And it's these memories, these positive memories in the poem, that lead the speaker almost to refuse to conform to the new culture that she's being placed in. So we're suggesting that these positive memories have a really powerful effect on her. So in this quotation, you can see that the speaker's memories of her home, the place that she comes from, are positive and happy, but that these memories have a really profound and positive effect on her and her behaviour and the way that she acts. Whether a memory should be positive or not, they are, and it's unchangeable throughout the poem, really. She then moves on to tell us a little bit about what's happened to this perfect place that she remembers. So she says, "It may be at war, it may be sick with tyrants, but I am branded by an impression of sunlight." So basically confirming that the country she comes from is now at war. It's war-torn, it's been made too dangerous to live, confirming really why she's obviously had to seek refuge in another country. She says the country might be sick with tyrants. A tyrant is somebody who's out of control, who's evil, villainous almost. So there's obviously bad people in that country doing terrible things. Despite that though, despite knowing that, she tells us she's branded by an impression of sunlight. Branded suggests that something is unmovable almost. It's part of her, this impression of sunlight, telling us that the place that she, despite what's happened, whatever bad things she hears of the place she came from, she still thinks of it positively because she's still clinging to the memories from when she was a little girl and she was happy in this place. So despite knowing that it's no longer safe, despite knowing that there's now bad people in that place, she still views it positively. She can't bring herself to say bad things or horrible things about the place that she came from because her memories are so powerful and the effect they have on her is so powerful. So again, highlighting that a place can have a really powerful effect on a person, which I definitely think is true. I think us growing up in Cumbria have a massive effect on us, and I think a lot of us would struggle if we were moved away and the place totally changed, to accept and to hate the place that we lived. I think if we had to move out of England, we'd probably look back on it, the place fondly, even if we heard that it had went bad. So it does make sense that the place that you leave when you're little and a child has a really powerful effect on you. So in this poem, place has a really profound effect. So does culture, because the culture she was a little girl and brought up around has a powerful effect on her, and so does memory. So it really links to checking out my history and kamikaze in terms of the power of culture, the power of memory, predominantly, and place to some extent with checking out my history, because obviously the place he came from is important to him. Then says, "It may now be a lie, banned by the state," and she's talking about her language here. So she's not allowed to speak her language in the new country. So it'd be like us being moved out of England and no longer being able to speak English. And I think you can imagine how difficult that would probably be. So she was a little girl, she came with this language that she's no longer allowed to speak, banned by the state, so it's banned. So this tells us that the country that she's sought refuge in, the place that she now lives, doesn't accept the culture that she came from, implying that potentially the institutions, the government expect the refugees to conform, to give up their traditions and heritage and culture and conform to the new country. And she says, however, she can't get it off her tongue. It tastes of sunlight. So really the speaker's attitude is that she loves speaking the language. Obviously sunlight, we said before, has positive, happy connotations. So the metaphor of it tasting of sunlight suggests that she enjoys speaking it. It brings a happiness speaking this language. She can't get it off my tongue suggests she can't help but speak it. It's part of her almost. This culture is so powerful. It's part of her. So again, suggesting that her memories and her culture have had a really powerful effect on her. She can't forget the language. Her positive memories of her culture and her country and the place that she comes from prevent her from being able to conform to the new society and the new culture, because she's still got such positive memories of her previous one. The final line of the poem is this, and I think it can be interpreted in so many different ways. I think it's quite a sad quote. We've got, "They mutter death, and my shadow falls of evidence of sunlight." My first question was for you is, who are they? Well, we assume they are the authorities in the country that she's moved to, so the government. Now, they're threatening her, according to the speaker. We don't know if it's true, but the speaker feels as though she's being threatened. And we can assume she's being threatened because she won't conform to the culture and the new country. And then finally she says, "And my shadow falls as evidence of sunlight." Now this can be interpreted in a few ways, but the idea of her falling could suggest that she's willing to give her life, she's willing to die to maintain her culture and her belief and her positive memories of the place that she came from. She's willing to die to refuse, if it means she can refuse to conform to the new culture. It could also just mean that she's made an example of, so she's potentially in trouble or goes to prison or whatever for refusing to conform to the new culture and new country. And this shows quite a few different types of power. So first of all, it shows that institutions are quite powerful. The fact that can tell somebody how to think and behave, that they can threaten somebody just for clinging to their culture and heritage and background and refusing to forget positive memories of a place that's now gone bad. It shows that they're very powerful and maybe abusing the power slightly, because there shouldn't really be anything wrong with her maintaining these positive memories. But it also shows more so the power of the individual, because however powerful the institutions might be, this individual in this poem, her memories have such a powerful effect on her, they're so important to her, that she's willing to sacrifice herself if it means clinging to our culture of a home country and maintaining these positive memories. So the individual's actually overcoming the power of the institution here, even though the institutions are being threatening. It's not actually having an effect on her because she's willing to sacrifice herself. It also shows the power of place and culture, because the place that she was brought up in is so important to her. She's willing to die to retain her sense of culture and pride in that place. So it's